So here I have a Dahan D7, and I went and bought some winter tires for it. So these are made by Schwalbe, and the model is Marathon Winter, and they cost around 70 bucks each. So both will cost you around 140 total. And they have these carbide studs on them. I'm gonna zoom in there. Show you the back one's the same as the front one, but you can see those studs are kind of all over the place. The most important thing in winter biking is clothing. You want to focus on wool, because wool is the best fabric to keep you dry when you sweat. The main benefit of wool compared to cotton is that wool kind of wicks away the sweat and moisture from you. So as you start sweating and getting wet, that moisture will go through the wool and evaporate. So it kind of stays dry as you get more and more sweaty. As you can see, I'm a pretty thin person myself, and I get cold very quickly. But these clothes here will last me down to around 20 degrees Fahrenheit, around -5 Celsius. And if you want to ride below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, you should probably get some more layers. Probably the least important thing is the legs. For that, you can get by with just long johns and a pair of windbreaker pants. So for the chest, the first layer should be a merino wool shirt. And merino wool is pretty light, not very heavy. And the second layer could be either a cashmere sweater, which is also very light and fluffy, or you can make it a simple lamb's wool sweater, which is a bit heavier but a bit thicker and warmer. So both, or you can use all three if it's very cold. And then for the feet, I typically use these wool socks. These are basically 100% wool socks, and they're very warm, and they keep your feet very dry, so they don't get sweaty. And if it's very cold, you can wear 2 layers of these socks. So the most important thing is the hands, because they get the coldest the quickest. And you want to basically wear mittens, not gloves. And you want to have mittens that have a inner shell of wool, which is basically these wool liners here, and an outer shell that kind of breaks the wind. And you can also wear these wool gloves also inside of these shells outside here. So, or you can even wear all 3 together at the same time. But I typically wear this set right here. And then for the head, you can wear a head mask, kind of a ski mask, and that's very thin and it kind of wraps around your head and keeps your ears and nose warm. And so the last thing is a windbreaker jacket. That's pretty basic. Make sure it has a zipper and it has a fleece lining. So as your body heats up, as you cycle more, you can kind of unzip it and air it out. So after you install your winter tires, the next thing is to get your bike ready for the winter. And of course you'll need to have your headlights. I use flashlights as headlights, and they're very powerful. They use AA batteries. And I also have a bike computer that gives me the the usual stuff, but also gives me temperature, which is pretty useful. And I also have a side light for side visibility. Then you also want to put on reflective tape on your bike, and that you put on pretty much anywhere you can put it on. At the end of handlebars, put it on the side of your bike, put it on your pedals and stuff. And you can also add the reflective tape to your helmet. Put that everywhere you can add it to. So for the rear light, I use a light by Danechi. It costs around 120 bucks, but it's definitely worth it, because when cars see that, they know you mean business. They can see more than a mile away, so they definitely give you plenty of space. And it's very bright, and it uses AA batteries also. And I definitely don't recommend using these cheap Planet Bike lights or cheap red blinky lights for the tail light, because they're very weak and they can't be seen far away. I mean, they look pretty good up close, but far away they're pretty much hard to see at all. So don't use them for the rear. use them for the sides or for side visibility. And as a backup, I have a yellow amber colored tail light. And the best thing is that yellow is much more visible than red. So even though it's not very powerful, it's still pretty visible far away. So if the Danechi battery goes dead or kind of dies out on me, I do have a backup light that goes on all the time. And the last but most important thing is the mirror. This one is by Take a Look, and it mounts on the eyeglass. And you can pretty much see everything behind you with this mirror, so I highly recommend having one.